going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Gonna try to make some progress today. I totally, like I said in the last video, had some just issues videotaping, issues getting content out there. So real quick, before we get into what's going on with the solid axle swap, good thing I have two 2005 trucks because, or both Chevys, whatever. Like I was saying yesterday, the fog light button on in my red truck is messed up. For some reason it just doesn't click. So I have the other one out of the other truck that works because, as you guys know, installed the new LED fog lights in the fog light hole. If you haven't seen that video yet, go check out yesterday's video on the install of that and the rock lights. I started doing this. Very simple to change these. You basically turn your key forward, bring your shifter all the way down, and your dash just kind of pull it out from all spots and you can take it right out. It's a very simple design. Super easy. So the plug is just like this. And it snaps in. And there's two little tabs right here and up in there that go over these two. So all this does, just kind of jimmy it, get the wires back, and just snaps in. So I use two flatheads to pry these clips down. Popped it right out, changed the plug, old one's out. So now we're going to test it real quick. If I can find my keys. So the little lights on. And look at that. We now have working fog lights. And just to follow up on the wiring, it's not like legit yet. All I did was I found the positive and negative and stuck them in the factory plug harness. I'd like to find a connector for them. If not, I'm gonna just seal them in there. They're really tight in there and good. I don't know, easy day. So I'm gonna put the dash back on, start planning stuff out for the solid axle swap, and we'll talk about that. So now that I got everything situated with this truck put back together, I'm going to talk a little bit about what has happened with this solid axle swap, where I'm at, what's next, kind of everything that's going into it. And I got carried away, made some videos that really weren't up to, they were subpar. I wasn't really happy with the content. I wasn't happy with what I said, what I did, what I filmed. So sorry I missed out on a lot of the building aspect and the actual physical labor of doing this, but I'm going to cover everything that I did real quick. To start off, I'd put this hub assembly back together after, but we'll talk about it first because it's on the end. So have the new ball joints pressed in. This is a Dodge axle, obviously. So the ball joints were pressed in the other day. We put the spindle back on, put the axle in, got it all spun on. I need to get a cotter pin for this. Still need to do the brakes and everything. But that brings me into my next thing, which is I welded on the axle plates that I called frame plates, but welded in the axle plates to the tube, both sides, inside and out. Measured the bars, and as you can see, these are both fully adjustable. Regular thread heim joints here, reverse thread there, so the bars are fully adjustable. Got these welded on, got this mounted. This is basically full compression. So when the truck is like maxed out at where the like bump stops would be, or basically bottomed out, this is how close the bars are going to be. I wanted to keep them a little bit away, and I wanted to set the tire on here and get measurements and everything so I can build the shock towers and the shock mounts for the axle. So measured the bars, inserted the bungs, followed them down, and welded them all in. Not a professional welder, but laid some 1940s dimes on there. So these are all welded in. Everything's good. They all spin, they all work. Everything's adjusted. Might change pinion angle a little bit depending on how much droop we have with the shocks in. The only things left to get this truck under its own weight is to build a drag link brackets, and the bar for the bar for the drag link, which I have everything I need. There's no waiting on parts. I have everything. I might need to get a new drill bit because I've kind of beat up all the drill bits I've had. Drilling 1-inch holes in 1/4-inch steel is not fun by any means whatsoever. But that leaves me with my task to do today. Depending on how this goes, I'm waiting on the water pump for this 05 Duramax back there, so we can do that. And I'll go over that a little bit. I've done them before on the channel, so there are older videos, but I'm going to show you some cool tools I got. And if that's the case, this video will probably run into tomorrow. So that way I can actually show some progress on this truck. I cannot talk today whatsoever. But with that being said, basically just wanted to show you guys that the bars are made up. This is in. It's kind of sitting on, you know, I have it jacked up, but it's sitting how it would sit. I have an idea for back here on how I'm going to fix this slop in the rear bars. So have to do that. Have to get these made, have to get the brackets made, and then install the shocks, which I don't know if I've really covered anything. I have their 10-inch Fox 2.5 coilovers, a 10-inch 750 spring, a 10-inch 600-pound spring with a dual spring setup. So this is what we'll be running on the truck. Remote reservoir. Picked these up used, so I just had to buy new springs for the spring rates I had for these. No, I'm not selling my truck. I don't even know why I had that. I think I bought it for the Fiero. But basically, that's where we're at today. More cutting, more grinding, more building. So I'm not gonna go crazy on me grinding and cutting because I've done time lapses with it. Basically, I'm just taking this piece of plate steel, marking out tabs and stuff that I feel are a good design that I can weld onto this and make beautiful. So basically, where I'm at, I'm gonna get to work. I'll update you guys throughout the day a little bit, but like I said, just expect to see more of the thought and the finished product of this. You guys have seen me weld, you've seen me grind, you've seen me cut, so I'm gonna kind of skip that part of things. And if any of you guys have any questions about this, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Drop it down, send me an email. My email's always in the link below. You guys want a shout out or something, feel free. My P.O. box is down below too. So if you guys ever have some cool stuff you want to get out there, I know this channel isn't really the biggest, but we're growing every day, and I have to thank all of you guys for that, so I'm really appreciative of that. It's been a crazy ride, been some cool stuff I've got to do, so we'll keep doing this. Rock lights, we have stuff we got to build for this. I do need to replace this brake line. I totally forgot when I installed the motor that I had dropped the motor on this. Like, I didn't drop it on, but I set it like it hit this coming down, and it's been flattened. And somehow, some way, it has not blown out, and I was able to stop. It pulled a little bit, and now I think I know why. But I'm gonna replace this line. I'm gonna get a factory GM line again, because that's what these are. I got a pre-bent kit from GM, all these coated stainless lines. Very nice, not too expensive. Hit up your dealership. You know, I think it's the best way. It's like, I think it's like 80 or 100 bucks. I might be way wrong. It was like 4 years ago. But pre-bent lines, you just straighten them out in the spots you need. They fit right in the truck, all bolt in. And after that, once I get this line in place, I have to figure out flexible lines to obviously make up for the new lift kit. Gotta get rear leaf springs. I'm gonna hit up Dever once we figure out the ride height of the front so we can measure the back. And that's where we're at. I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna get to work. Got a lot to do. Not a lot of time. I mean, I guess I have all the time in the world, but it's just been a project that I'm ready to get done because it's been kicking my butt for a while. So that's it. Gonna get into it. I just want to give you guys an update on kind of everything that's going on. But look at this meat. So pumped to put these 38 15.5 Hostile Strikers on. So this is the wheel and tire setup that we will be running on the truck. They're 20 by 10, -44. I am probably, so I mocked it up, and I'm probably gonna have to go with a more offset rim because I didn't really take into consideration the back spacing. So it fits on the truck. It's not gonna rub on the fender. Everything's good there. But at about full lock, the tire actually hits the bars, the 4-link bars. So maybe one day when you know, I have, you know, someone who wants to donate some wheels to the channel, we'll take them off and put like a 20 by 12 -76 or 20 by 14 -76, whatever it may be. We might need to change those up a little bit just for that reason. I'm not doing it because I like the way it looks with super stance. I mean, this truck is obviously going to have stance. It's going to stick out pretty far, but I just physically need the function of more offset wheels. So function over form sometimes for me. Well, most of this has been function over form. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this build. Well, I figured it's about time for one of those updates because we're just about done. So I had made up shock mounts, the drag link bar, and welded all the plates on. So I made these, welded them. Everything should be solid. We kind of centered the axle off the frame, adjusted it, got the drag link in, and actually I'm gonna double check to make sure that won't hit the motor. I don't think it will. All we have left is to grind down the frame and weld on, position the shock towers and weld them on. So I think that's where we're at now. But yeah, we're moving right along today. Today should be the last day, and it should be on its way by the end of today. We only have about probably an hour or two left to work. It won't be ready to move. It won't have brakes. It won't have steering, but we still gotta figure that out. But anywho, we're gonna keep going. Well, everyone, we have band practice upstairs, but to come at you with a crazy update right now, it's about time to jack this thing up. I've welded on, fought with, and bolted in all of everything. So I'm gonna go through and snug up all the bolts and everything, put Loctite on everything, and then we're gonna try and jack it up. So I will keep you guys in for that one. So let me get this done, let me get buttoned up a little bit, got a little bit more to do, but then it's ready to rip. So I'm pumped. Let's do it. I don't know if you guys are ready for this. I'm gonna go over everything tomorrow when there's daylight, but I have to just show you for right now because I busted my ass today, welded everything on. I'm gonna go over and talk about the whole suspension setup, but basically, here it is. Still need to lift it back, obviously, but the solid axle swap is complete. Just about. I still need to tighten some things up, but let it be known that I can walk under my mirror. The back's not even lifted yet. These are 38s and definitely makes them look small. I'm sure the camera does zero justice, but I am so pumped, guys. I will continue to talk about this build and wrap things up and make sure everything's solid before we get any further, but there you have it. The truck is sitting under its own weight again. So as you guys have seen by now, we have finished the solid axle swap in the Duramax. I know this is kind of like a build it, DIY, do it yourself, DIY, I'm saying it twice. Anyways, the truck is done. It's daylight out now, as you guys can probably tell. Actually, it's pretty bright. So I'm gonna go over everything real quick and get this video up. I know I was kind of tired of grinding, showing you guys grinding and everything, so I really just kind of grinded. I kind of busted my butt and finished the truck. I finished the truck late at night, so it was very, very like hard to see. I tried making some videos, couldn't really see anything. So I'm gonna cover everything now, show you guys the truck, Basically, guys, I'm pumped. There's, like I said, few loose ends to clean up, but we're almost ready to move on to the next part of the build, which will be the ZF6 manual swap and installation on this truck. We have to lift it back still and tighten, like I said, tighten up some things in the front. I don't know if you're ready. Oh, I don't know if guys, I don't know if you're ready for this, but here it is, the solid axle swapped Duramax sitting under its own weight. It's sitting under its own weight. We still need to build steering. I need to remake the drag link bar. It's pushed out and the axle still needs to go over a little bit to the left. So I need to make a longer bar because I kind of made it short. So I'm gonna either cut those bungs off or I have a few extra ones and slide it over. But here it is, guys. Now I'm not super tall. I'm about 5'8", but standing straight up, this is where the hood is. So it was such a like sigh of relief jacking this thing up, letting it sit under its own weight, and kind of just being done. Like there's a bunch of wiring, fuel pumps, all this stuff. It needs to get redone. The truck needs some body work, which it is going in for body work when we're done here before a wrap. So everything's done. We have our coilovers mounted. I need to adjust these a little bit. So I don't like the way that's sitting a little bit. Just stuff that up there for now. No weight on it. But everything is built. 1/4-inch plate, 7018 rod welded in on the frame. All this stuff is rigged on the axle. I made all the bars, made this. Everything. So you can see this is a stock height Duramax, and the hood's just about as high as the roof of it. So it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. So what's up next is ordering springs for the back. We gotta figure out how tall we need to go to get this thing to sit level. So that will be this. And yes, you just so you guys know, if you really want to, you can stuff 38 stock height in the rear. No blocks, no nothing. There's that for you. But it's done. This has been a dream of mine for a long time. I always wanted to do a solid axle swap Duramax. I always wanted a twin turbo Duramax. Always wanted a ZF6 Duramax. So why not put them all together? I kind of started this build and it just got way out of hand, but it's finally coming together. So there's probably some design flaws. This is all like first time for me. Everything is all kind of, but I mean it's sturdy. Like everything's good. Rock the truck. Suspension works. I'm hoping for a really smooth ride with this. Gotta clean up the axle, paint some of the welds, kind of clean everything up. And I think when I re-gear the axles, both axles, I'll probably get them powder coated. So we're going to SEMA. No, I'm just kidding. I would never make it. But you know, maybe one day we'll do some cool stuff and get a frame off on this, and you know, really just make it as badass as possible. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna jack this thing up to take the axle apart. I'm probably gonna have to like drive it up to a ledge and put the jack on a different ledge. But other than that, everything is done. It's all bolted together under its own weight. So I thank you guys for your patience, for staying with me. Oh yeah, we need to do brakes and stuff too, but that's all minor details, little stuff that we need to get custom made or replace brake lines. I don't know if I can make the ABS work on this Dodge axle. Kind of one of those things where it's, you know, I don't know. People use the Ford one, you can change the ABS sensor and it works, but basically, here it is, guys. It's finally done. Well, I wouldn't say done. No project is ever done. But the truck is under its own weight. So I say we're about 50% the way to driving it. Maybe 70, because this was the hardest part. Putting a transmission in, cutting some holes, lifting the back, easy day. Easy day. But building this was a hassle. So, need to get the steering figured out, all that good stuff, and we'll see what we can do. So as always, thank you guys for the support on this. I would not have been able to do it without you guys, without, you know, some motivation to get it done. So there it is. Thank you. Thank you for everything. I hope the content gets a little bit better now that we're not cutting, grinding, welding, repeat all over the, you know, again. So solid axle swap Duramax is done. We will get to doing some more work on this, but I got this truck to do. I'm taking about a week off, guys, so when you see this video, probably be about 2 days into it or whatever, but I'm gonna take some time off and relax for a little bit. But the hard part's over. I really rushed to get it done, but that stance though, and there's no spacers, stock track length or track width or whatever you want to call it. So here it is. Alright, that's it guys. Thank you for everything. I'm out of here. Expect to see more content with this soon.